I am a revert and I was taught how to pray Salah.
That means every single time I pray,
the person who told me gets the reward.
5 times a day, from Fajr to Isha.
If you want to support someone like me in learning Salah,
Then sponsor 10 people for just £100.
remember the Prophet, peace be upon him, said,
Charity does not decrease wealth. Click the button and donate now.
Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Alright guys, so bear in mind Donald Trump is standing in front of the world leaders at the UN. He's not speaking to a couple of his friends over a pint. And here is what he says.
And I have to say, I look at London where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed.
It's been so changed. By the way, get these foreigners out that can't be bothered to learn our language, mate. Where was I? Something about changed.
Now they want to go to Sharia law.
That you want to go to Sharia law. When you're deciding which country you want to travel to, you go Barbados, China, Sharia law. Yeah? Can you show us, Donald Trump, where that is on the map? I can't see Sharia law anywhere, mate. Maybe you have a special map.
But you're in a different country. You can't do that.
So what he's saying in his very low IQ nursery, hasn't read a book in his life sort of way, and bear in mind he's somewhat reading off a teleprompter as well, he's saying in his own little world that in London we have pretty much Sharia law. Now he is somebody that is surrounded a lot by the far right, the right wing. That's who he interacts with, and that's all they bang on about pertaining London. They blame everything on Sadiq Khan. Frankly, his Muslimness doesn't really affect much of his policies. Let's see how the people are responding to him.
Are you prepared to unequivocally condemn Donald Trump's remarks yesterday suggesting that Sadiq Khan wanted to impose Sharia law in London? Yes or no?
He goes, yes or no? Yeah, we want to stop the waffle. Tell us, please. Go.
No, please.
He didn't say Sadiq Khan wanted to impose Sharia law in London, and he was very careful.
Oh, for God's sake, he's now being very pernickety with the semantics. We all know what the guy meant. But technically speaking, he didn't actually use the proper grammatical form. Well, we know that. The guy is illiterate.
Let Mr. Farage, I will come back to
No,
this.
I listened to that, and he said it very carefully.
Oh, yeah. Donald Trump and the word carefully. What planet are you living on, Nige?
But on his... By the way, very important, Chris, with Trump. Never take what he says literally. Ever.
This is supposed to be a friend of Trump. Never take what he says literally. Everything is symbolic. If he says hello, that means chocolate biscuit. If he says chocolate biscuit, that means carpet. If he says carpet, he's insulting your grandmother.
On anything. But always take everything he says seriously.
So he's not going to make sense in what he's saying, but you have to search for the sense there. You're dealing with it all wrong, caller.
And these comments on...
To explain the distinction there, then.
So he makes a comment, and you might disagree with the tone. You might disagree with the context. You might disagree with the number.
You might disagree with the people he's mentioning. You might disagree with the word order. You might disagree with the language. However, do you see? Yes.
There were 85 Sharia courts operating...
Okay, now this is something they love to talk about, and we're going to deal with this.
...in this country at some level.
Civil level, by the way.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. But operating at some level in this
Civil
country.
Level.
So is he right to say that Sharia is an issue in London? Yes.
No, he's not. Because the Sharia that he's referring to and that people are going to take from this is that you have a law that's replacing the current British law that we have, which is absolutely preposterous.
Is it an overwhelming issue at this stage? No.
So in other words, no, Nigel, no. And then tell us...
Has the Mayor of London directly linked himself to it? No.
Is the Mayor...
No. So in other words, Nigel, no. Is Sharia courts an issue? No. It does not overrule the current British law. It's to do with civil matters. There's a Jewish court pertaining their issues. An agreement has to be made between two parties for a solution to be reached. It does not override British law. It has voluntary arbitration panels, and it only stands if it's in line with British law. Generally speaking, it's to do with marital and divorce issues. If somebody disagrees, then they can take it to the British courts. So no, Nigel, that's what the answer is.
The idea of the introduction of Sharia.
Now, Keir Starmer has been trying to suck up to the far right because of pressure from within his own party. Why? Because Conservatives and Reform, they are taking the lead. Why? Because of populism, yeah? People blaming the issues on people that don't look like them, i.e. the migrants, i.e. the Muslims, i.e. the Pakistanis, i.e. even the Indians or the Chinese or whoever it is. This is an age-old technique and the cycle continues, yeah? People wisen up, then they realize, no, the issue is actually within our own country. Why? Because it's not the Muslims that are stopping you, the Christians, from going to your churches. You guys don't go to your churches, because of which your churches are empty, and then we need places to pray because Islam is the fastest growing religion, and then we purchase a place to pray which you sell to us. It's not like we twist your arm and force you to sell it because no one else wants to buy your building. We do, because we got people that want to pray. On top of that, Muslims are not encouraging your leaders to offload your jobs to AI and self-service checkouts. You're going to blame that on Muslims as well? Are Muslims forcing you to fight for the Ukrainians and give them money? Are Muslims forcing you to fund Israel for its never-ending war of conquest? Are Muslims forcing your property owners to spike the property prices so high that you actually cannot afford a living place? The answer is an unequivocal no. It is not the fault of the Muslims. However, it's just easy. Tommy Robinson, the low IQ bumbling buffoon, has been advised, you know what, go down this tract as Zionists, because we know Mr. Shillman himself has funded him, Mr. Middle Eastern Forum has funded him, his initial EDL party, if you look in Company's House, it was called the English and Jewish Defense League. We know who are pushing him and encouraging him to be divisive. Why? Because now he's taken his step to advance UK party. He wants to get into politics. And we know pretty much Nigel Farage and his Reform Party are going to win. Keir Starmer and the Labour are out of the race. It's going to be Reform and Conservatives. People still hate Conservatives. Why? Because there is a black woman that's pretending to be white, and we all know what the issue there is going to be. So Tommy Robinson's going to advance his advanced UK party. That's why I say the UK is going through an interesting period, and we need to wisen up to the details and to the strategies at play. Let's look where Keir Starmer has taken down the England flags, because before he was, going along with the right wing, the far right, and he's finally decided to be the counterweight to them, because that's the only way Labour is going to win.
The idea of the introduction of Sharia law is nonsense. And Sadiq Khan is a very good mayor and actually driving down serious crime. So, as I say, there's a lot I agree with President Trump. We get along. We had a good state visit last week, but on this I disagree with him, and the Sharia law comments were ridiculous.
Will you call him out on it when you next speak to him?
Oh, of course, we have a frank conversation about many things.
Yeah, there's a clip of Trump literally patting him on the back like you do to a dog when they've performed a good trick.
Well, let me be really clear about Hamas. They're a terrorist organisation who can have no part in any future governance in Palestine. And what happened on October the 7th?
Another clip where he's picking up papers like he's his servant.
A document, this is... Sorry about that.
That's the state of the UK at this moment in time. And we know how geopolitics works. Post-World War II, UK was not an empire. You had two new forces, Russia and America, and UK had to make a choice of who to align with, and they picked America. So did many other countries. So that's why you'll see them in such a servant and servile manner running after Trump. Here's what Sadiq Khan said.
Crush on me. It's either that or, he believes he given me squats rights inside his home. People will be wondering what it is about this Muslim mayor who leads a liberal, multicultural, successful, diverse...
This guy's completely missed the point. Yeah, the point is that Trump is trying to leverage his influence with his vote base, even in the UK, to get rid of this guy, frankly. Yeah, they have their own people. That Middleton guy, Ant Middleton, he's somebody that the right want to vote in. And I think they've had others. But most likely he'll probably get bought in because he's an ex-veteran and he talks like them. And you know what I mean? And this guy is... he's been voted in 3 times, but I'd be surprised if he gets voted in again. But that's the whole point. That's why Trump is constantly bashing him.
Sharia law in London, Brian, can we deal with that?
I think he's misinformed. There is a lot of talk in parts of London. You go to some parts of the East End of London and they're completely dominated by the Muslim community.
He answered the question right at the beginning, saying he's misinformed. It's incorrect. However, just like Nigel Farage, they then use it as a jumping off point into a non-argument. Yeah, his counter argument is, oh, there are certain Muslim dominated areas. So what? There's certain Jewish dominated areas, Golders Green, Stamford Hill. What does that mean? That suddenly Jewish law is on the rise? We had people that were Jews that were going to be leaders of the Labour Party. Ed Miliband and his brother. Oh, having a Jewish Prime Minister of this country. We just had a Hindu Prime Minister of this country. Which Muslim has been a Prime Minister? You're talking about a mayor. What control or powers does a mayor have? It's mostly symbolic. Don't give us these dead arguments.
Hamlets, every lamppost has got a Palestinian flag on it.
So what dead argument is that? Yes, that's because there's a genocide going on. So of course people want to show solidarity with the oppressed, just like people were holding up Ukrainian flags, welcoming in Ukrainian migrants and asylum seekers.
But
Palestine isn't a Muslim cause. Palestine is a human right. No.
She's missed the point completely.
No, we're not introducing Sharia law in London, and nobody is seriously suggesting it.
Thank you.
Although I'm sure there's sections of the Muslim community that would like to see it. But I mean, Sharia law...
So Christian people want to see Christianity be dominant in the world. Jewish people want Judaism and Jewish law to be dominant. Muslims, yes, of course we follow Sharia law, but does that mean that we're going to force it? We're going to implement it? No. If the British people vote for it, then fair enough. If they don't vote for it, they don't. Just like anything else. What, we're going to suddenly use the force and change your minds like some sort of Jedi mind trick? Are we going to be able to manipulate the system? You know what I mean? Like, it's so stupid. Sometimes when they try to make these arguments to make the Muslims seem like the bad guys, they have to really go low IQ, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've made my point, and inshallah you guys have benefited. I'm going to leave it there. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.